ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hey, this is Arlene.
Hi, this is Grace.
And you're with us on our ASEAN Daily. So, Grace, what's up for our political news and current affairs today?
Again, it will be about South China Sea. And apparently coming from China, they claim victory as whole ASEAN countries issue this statement on South China Sea.
Yeah. And apparently it's a watered-down statement.
That's right.
Yesterday, I reported that Cambodia was unhappy with the finalized statement that they have to go back again to the boardroom and discuss again what kind of terms and condition that is required for ASEAN to issue a statement from ASEAN's point of view. And apparently that this statement is so watered down, it looks like China is winning the game of the South China Sea dispute.
That's right. So all these foreign ministers of this ASEAN, they had a meeting in in one country, which is in Laos. But it just happened that it failed to reach a certain consensus. And of course, you mentioned about Cambodia, who is a strong ally of China. They blocked attempts by rival claimants in the South China Sea for the tough line to be made towards Beijing.
And according to the ASEAN communique, they say that they remain serious concern about the recent ongoing developments and took note of the concerns expressed by some ministers on the land reclamations and escalation of activity in the area, which have eroded trust and confidence, increased tensions, and may undermine peace, security, and stability in the region.
Right. So according to China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi, he told the Cambodia Foreign Ministers Prak Sohon, saying that Cambodia's position was the right one and it will safeguard the unity of ASEAN and cooperation with China.
That's, I think, the problem with Southeast Asia or ASEAN in this case. We have this thing where all countries in Southeast Asia need to agree in all the matters before they can issue any joint statement. So they don't have this majority rule sort of requirement. Instead, their requirement is even if one person disagrees, say that one person is Cambodia, the whole grouping of ASEAN, including bigger countries like Indonesia, even Malaysia, Philippines, they have no say over whether the statement can be released or not. It has to involve everyone, including countries as tiny as Laos and Cambodia.
That's right. I mean, it comes with the pros and cons, but in this case, South China Sea, it's really hard to have everyone's voices together in order to achieve our goals here, which is South China, especially we are dealing with China. And the China, they greatly approves of Cambodia and also other ASEAN countries taking charge of this impartiality and safeguarding fairness in South China Sea.
And also, this proves that ASEAN unity is far from reach. It shows that some countries in Southeast Asia seem to be a proxy country by superpowers, in this case, China.
Right.
And in some countries by the US. I mean, I think when it comes to consensus building among all ASEAN countries, it will only work when all ASEAN countries have the idea of ASEAN unity. And I think this is lacking when it comes to the issue like South China Sea, which involves big powers like the US, China, and many more powers. Hey, this is Arlene.
Welcome back, this is Grace.
And you're still with us on our ASEAN Daily. So, yesterday, the Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte gave his first State of the Nation speech, and he talked about a lot of things, but one thing that I would like to highlight was he actually declared ceasefire with the communists.
And also he added by saying that it is his dream to end the armed struggle which has raged for decades. And of course, in his first State of the Nation address to the Philippines Congress, President Rodrigo Duterte, he urged the fighters to reciprocate as he laid the groundwork for the peace talk due to the beginning in Norway next month. But when it comes to peace talks with this quite progressive president in the Philippines now, I wonder how it will be proceeded.
I mean, you see his track record when he was the head governor in Davao City. You realize that when he's quite a strong-willed person. When he say he wants to do something, he will do it. Most often, he might have a bit of human rights abuse in what he does, like, for example, fighting criminals in the most brutal way possible.
Yep.
But at the same time, he does ensure peace and stability. And when it comes to communists, we all know that it was a huge threat in Southeast Asia back in the days. But now, communism is not really a big threat. So I think he's just keeping up with times.
At the same time, he really wants to stop violence on the ground and restore peace in the communities immediately. So there will be an action that will be taken from his side in order to come up with this term. And also, the communist rebellion and the government attacks have left dead around 30,000 people. I mean, since that's we're talking about since the 1960s.
Yeah. And I think the peak was in the 1980s. Since then, the numbers of people joining and also fighting for communism has somehow reduced. But it retains support among the deeply poor in the rural areas, and forces regularly kill police and troops.
Right.
But I think he's doing a great job at not making more enemies. And I don't think communists are the enemy right now. There's a lot of other issues that needs to be addressed. I think the major one in the Philippines and worldwide would be terrorism. Hi, this is Arlene.
Welcome back. This is Grace.
And you're still with us on our ASEAN Daily. So the current issues regarding on the Philippines now is about 9 Philippine militants. They may face death sentence in Malaysia.
So apparently the Malaysian court has convicted 3 locals and 14 Filipinos of terror-related offenses. And some are pretty punishable by death. And following an armed incursion that left skulls dead and paralyzed on the remote corner of Borneo for weeks. And it is according to the lawyer.
So the news here is these people are part of the 2013 siege inspired by a self-proclaimed Filipino sultan who tried to resurrect long dormant land claims, which saw clashes between Malaysian forces and some 200 Filipino militants who had arrived by boat in the eastern state of Sabah on Borneo Island. I think in Malaysia is well known as the Lahad Datu incident.
Right.
So the crisis has embarrassed both, of course, Manila and Kuala Lumpur because they really didn't expect this to happen.
No. And a total of 29 people, 26 Filipinos and 3 Malaysians, they went on trial, and with the 12 Filipinos acquitted already. And from here, 9 Filipinos, they convicted of waging war faced life imprisonment or even death.
Well, one of the people who found guilty is actually a prince or a king.
That's right.
It's the son of the late self-styled Sulu Sultan Ismail Kiram. I mean, it's quite sad if they are going to be, facing that sentence. I think
that's right.
I'm sure they should be facing some sort of punishment, but not too severe. I don't think it's even pro-human rights to do that. I think they deserve to live.
That's right. And if you talk about the populations, population of Filipinos living in Sabah, that's in total of 800,000 of them are living there. And they're making up to about a quarter of the population of the state, which is just a short boat ride from southern Philippines. So like you said, regarding to these human rights, perhaps we can find alternative ways, maybe to punish them rather than extreme punishment, just like a death sentence.
In fact, it should be abolished a long time ago.
That's right.
That's all from our ASEAN Daily today. Thank you for tuning into Trian ASEAN. For more updates on Southeast Asia, please go to our website at drianasean.com. If you're on the go, you can always download our TuneIn app on your mobile. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels at Drian ASEAN and Drian ASEAN TV. Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram.